Yes, everyone. This is your soul brother Talib. Yes, it's a subject I like to touch on in this video. You know, it's entitled "The Honorable Elijah Muhammad," basically saying that black people should not be around big crowds of white people, especially in these dangerous times that we're living in now. Here in this pro-racist atmosphere of America. And yes, what he said decades ago still stand on true ground today. And what I want to say is that, first of all, let me give you an apology to those of you out in black YouTube land and black social media for encouraging other black people to move to places in America where there's not many of black people at. And one of them places is like here in Nebraska where I'm currently living, and also in other states surrounding areas like Kansas, South North Dakota, Montana, Wyoming, on further out to places like Utah and Idaho, you know. I apologize again for encouraging even those blacks who tend to want to lead a black community to get away from the harsh realities of what's considered as the hood when it comes to the black community. Because at the end of the day, we all, as descendants of slaves born here in America, are standing between a hard rock and a hard place. Like a brother said, so we first we got to deal with each other's chaos and stupidity, and then we got to worry about dealing with the racists on the other end, of the skeptic. When we choose and decide to want to leave out of our element or environment where we come from as a people, just because we felt like we finally made it. Those of us that rose out the ashes of poverty or whatever, and even those of us who did not rise up out the ashes of poverty but found a way to cross over that line to go places where we're really not wanted, such as like where I'm at here in Nebraska, and where I personally, and as well as being black period, where one stands out like a thorn, and I don't like being in no place where I got to stand out, like a brother said, like a sore thumb, because that's just not a comfortable position at all to be in. Now, mind you, just like I made choices in my life that wasn't so good, this happened to be one of the choices that wasn't so good that I made by coming here a few years ago, and I'm thinking I'm coming here, to get away from, the craziness I thought I was escaping further back east, and so, I come to find out, like, someone said, wherever you go, you take you with you, you know, and that's true, you know, wherever you go, you definitely take you with you. And so what I see is basically something I should have dealt with without even having to travel across different state lines, and just accepted the fact that, hey, look, I'm between a hard rock and a hard place, and I got to deal and will the best way I can from there. But I chose to come here, and so I've been dealing with it like that here. And of course, once I get done doing what I must do, far as my priority set goes, then I've decided that I will be leaving here. And hopefully it will be very soon. Very soon. Because, it's like it got more to the point that, I'm not even feeling like I'm, free in the sense of being able just to walk around. It's like I'm on a prison yard walking around with guards and gun towers surrounding me, And it's like, that's how I feel every time I leave up out my place. Because it's like I said, being black here where I'm at in Nebraska, I'm the minority. We're the minority. And it's like, we stand out like a sore thumb. If anything happens, of course, like crime or whatever, the first, of course, people that's looked at is us. Especially when it comes to the drug trade, to the gang banging and all this other stuff, and then you got, of course, even more racial profiling because of this type of situation here. So, and it just ain't even the police or law that you got to worry about here. It's even the local, civilians. Because they try to, in their own way, act like the George Zimmerman types, who's walking around without a license to carry a badge and gun, And it's like, this is the type of place that, I find myself living in. And this is the reason why when I make my next transition to move on to another geographical location, I would definitely make sure I do my research. So I know exactly where I'm going without just going from one place to another on a whim, and like I said before, I apologize to my fellow Black American slave descendants that I've encouraged to move to parts of America like this or other certain parts where they got majority white populations at, because it's definitely not safe being black, being in a state or city where whites are the majority. Like I saw a sister in the video that was done about a couple of years ago out in Connecticut. And, she was talking about her experience, even though she was originally from Boston, Massachusetts, which is nearby in that region, area part of the country on the East Coast. And she was talking about how, she was experiencing discrimination on her job, even despite her position with the degree she had requiring her position, and how she had to contend with hostility and jealousy from white employees on her job due to that factor. In Providence, Rhode Island, which is majority Caucasian, let alone it being smallest state in the entire rest of the 50 state unions. And so, I mean, it's like we got to deal with this type of situation no matter where we go. It's already bad enough true that it's hard for us where it is more of us concentrated at as black people in America. But see, I'm seeing now that at least by me returning back to a place where it's more black people concentrated at in this country, I will be in a less hostile environment, which is considered to be on a better equal playing field. And I could accept that, because at the end of the day, no matter what status of class or so-called status of class we find ourselves in as descendants of slaves or descendants of Negro slaves born in America, we are still the N-word. I'm going to repeat that again. We as descendants of slaves born in America are still the N-word. No matter what type of status we fall under, rich or poor or so-called middle class, it don't make no difference. We are still the N-word. And I realized that, no matter, even in terms of what I'm doing with my own personal life, like going back to school to better myself and so forth and on, and stuff, I'm still the N-word. And what comes along with that, negatively categorizes, dark-skinned descendants of slaves born in America as a group of people. And it's like, even if if I'm not a drug addict, a derelict, a homeless person, a criminal, a gangbanger, a dope fiend, a prostitute, a crackhead, and so forth on, I'm still the N-word. And me being around these Caucasians, especially those who are covertly and outrightly racist in their own way, have shown me no matter what I do, they still not gonna respect me just because of my skin color. And that's just a fact. And a lot of other black people, and particularly black people in this area, like I was explaining to a brother earlier tonight in a personal conversation, that basically these local blacks here where I'm at in Nebraska are, what you wouldn't consider as being your unquote average African Americans. People like myself that are from back east, especially on the other side of the Mississippi, look at these people as being non-average black Americans, you know, and basically because of how they act and carry themselves and how they've been, molded and how they grew up in this area, has produced that notion about them. So I choose not to deal with them because of that. And it's not that I don't want to associate with them, but that mentality set that they have, especially that deep slave mentality they have, like all of us that are descendants of slaves, but to even a more in that degree than some, causes me not to want to deal with them like that. And that's the reality. So I got to face them as well as the racists. And that combination there definitely warrants me, to the point where I made a decision, like I said, that I will leave once I'm done doing what I got to do, because it's nothing here anyway. It's not that much opportunity here. And at first, when I first came here, I kind of thought, like, by being under the impression that it was more opportunity here, but it's not. So I must return back somewhere else where there is more opportunity and where it is more people that look like me, where I won't be, a standout type of person, stuck out like a sore thumb, like I said before, it's just bad, and like I said, with the climate of racial bias and hostility that's going on in this country right now, especially under a presidential administration that is giving the green light okay for it to go on the way it is. I mean, I would have to definitely say that, every black person that can see what's going on, please do whatever you can to choose as an advice. Because I can't tell you what to do because you grown like me. But all I could do is suggest or advise you. Stay in whatever cities you're at, where there's more of your own kind at. And stay, if you can, within your own community to try to make a difference. That's all I could say. Because running away from the problem, fars the drugs, the crime, and whatever, which has driven a lot of black people to want to move in areas where it's more Caucasians or whatever, it's definitely not the answer. And I'm definitely, one that could, as a first-hand witness, attest to, as a fact. I mean, like I said, I wouldn't even wish this on someone with my same skin color that's my worst enemy. I really wouldn't want to wish this on my worst enemy to make a decision like I did a few years ago by putting myself in a bind like this, but like I said, I'm making it the best of it. But at the end of the day, this has been a learning experience for me. And I will keep on reminding people of this so they won't fall into the same trap, especially when they decide to relocate to another state or city, with expenses and stuff come along with that. Especially when you're trying to move somewhere else to resettle, And like I said before, I just really want you to know that. Again, I apologize for even encouraging other blacks to lead a black community. That's not the best answer as far as escaping our domestic problems as a people. It's simply not. And this is why I'm one of those that support the Mississippi campaign. Because that will be a ultimate difference to turn this whole situation around. If we could get our heads together and stop being so divided and just make it happen. But other than that, like I said, I just really want you to know that I'm getting tongue-tied, but anyway, I just want you to know that, hey, that's all I wanted to share. And in my next video, I will be sharing about the return to Ghana situation, which took place last year in 2019, and share on the subject about how much of a, big ripoff that was to black people, especially coming from America, going to Ghana. And so in my next video, I will be discussing that topic with y'all out there in social media land. But until then, and until next time, I just want to leave you in the words of peace. Again, tongue-tied. I want to leave you in the words of peace, love, and